This was a good one. I told this to a student, and I realized I never put this one up. This is when Maynard's band, at least when I was with him, learned about Afro-Cuban music. It was a heck of a lesson. So there was a time when you wrote big band charts that you would just write Latin groove, and then you would just hope to get something. And normally you would get an Art Blakey ding 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 ding. You would get that pattern, and there wouldn't be much else. And it really wasn't fair for the rhythm section, but if you find some older charts, you'll see slashes for the bass, slashes for drums, slashes for piano, and you may see the word calypso or you may see the word mambo, and you would get whatever you got. And but thank God those days are over. If you look at people who right now, Matt Harris, that's Mendoza, Bob Mintzer, when you look at the rhythm section parts in the big band, when they're doing these tunes that have that are groove tunes, everyone has something specific to play because it is specific. And if you find some older charts from the 50s, the 60s, you won't see much. We just didn't know. So now we have things like this book here. This book is excellent for learning those grooves. So here, if you want to know how to play a songo, look, tells you what the piano has to play, bass, clave, if there is a clave, gives you the instruments that might be in that particular groove, different groove here, and it goes on and on and on. And you don't need 35 bars of a tune to understand what the groove is. You need 2 measures to see how they rhythmize the harmony and how they put the stuff together. So that was a time, and I would say maybe in the 80s it was starting to become official somewhat, and people were listening to Mongo Santa Maria, Tito Puente, Eddie Palmieri, all these great players that would play that way. All right, so you could get on YouTube and you could look at, I think, Woody's band. I know Maynard's band, we did this. Stan Kenton's band did this. We used to have a box of like percussion stuff. They were like toys, they were looked at like toys. Like here's a shaker. Here's a you play the maracas. Maynard had, oh man, I shiver when I think about it. Maynard had like vibra slaps. I mean, in what groove is the vibra slap predominantly featured? So you would hand out like 2 or 3 of them. So you have 3 guys and sound like a bunch of cowbells, some cows on the side of a mountain in Switzerland waiting to be milked. It was just oh my God, it was so terrible. But we would just hand stuff out, and everybody would just start shaking things, and that was how it was handled. And of course, back then, just didn't know. Now this is maybe my first or second tour. All right, so we had a box with all that stuff in it. I shiver when I think about it. So now we're playing San Juan, Puerto Rico, and the group opening for us is this group Iriqueri, which is a great Cuban jazz group. Toro was in it. I think Paquito was in it. Great. Oh man, on fire. It was a mix of all that great Afro-Cuban stuff with jazz. The guys were playing all the modern changes. It was great. It was just exciting. So we go and we play, and Maynard's band is headlining, and Iriqueri is opening for us. So we go to the theater, and we do our sound check, and we have some tune where we give out all this stuff, and we're just shaking it, ignorantly. And I remember when I was going to school in Miami, I played a couple Afro-Cuban gigs, and I picked up a clave. Started hitting him out of left field. Guy grabbed him, ripped him out of my hands. He goes, "Man, don't mock my heritage, man. You play what you play. I don't play your instrument. Don't play mine," right? So you can ignorantly look at all these Latin percussion instruments like, oh, these are toys, because you can give them out, have people play them. But every one of those instruments has a deep history, and every one of those instruments has somebody who has mastered it, who is unbelievable on it, and I mean freakishly, just great. I've seen Airto playing a tambourine. I had no idea you could do that with a tambourine. A friend of mine who plays up in Chicago is a master of the maracas. Unbelievable when you hear what these guys can do. All right, so every instrument is deep. Every instrument has a history, and every one of the instruments in that box were misplayed and just treated as toys. I mean, it was just the time that's what was going on. Oh, God, I look back now. Oh, geez. So anyway, we go and we play. We do our sound check, boom. And as we're doing our sound check, this guy comes walking in with a bag. I think he had sandals on, a ripped T-shirt, no sleeves, and it looked like he was carrying something about the size of a watermelon. I don't know who it was. We don't know, we don't know anybody there. So we do our sound check and it's fine. And what happens is the band that's going to open the show does the sound check last because you want to have it all set up. When you come back, you do your sound check, go to dinner, you come back, you're already set up. So the band that opens does the sound check last. So we finish our sound check. Eric Carey gets on. They're doing their tunes. We're watching them. Wow. It was unbelievable. Unbelievable. Fire. And Tor Sandoval was in that group then, and we didn't know much about him then. Actually, it was years later I put it together that's who was in the group. I remember he and Maynard were talking, and they played on fire. It was unbelievable. So we're watching this group play, and the guy who came in with the bag takes out Shekere, I think that's how you say it. It's a big gourd with a net around it with beads on it. And that gourd had a little bit of a hump. It wasn't like a perfect circle. It had a little bit of a hump. And this guy could play it and get all these different sounds out of it. And I just thought, if we had our hands on that thing, we'd just be shaking like this, and that would be that. These guys are doing their sound check. And they're playing boom, doom, doom, doom. I remember the tempo was like boom, doom, 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 doom. They wave everybody out. This guy's taking a solo. Whoa! We're all in the line because we finished our sound check. We're just watching these guys. We're like, whoa! He actually got this thing, and he threw it in the air. And that hump, he threw it in the air in a way that the nets didn't move, and the inside gourd spun, and that hump would like shoo, shoo, shoo. He spun it in a way where that hump would spin in time, suspended in air, and then he would catch it. So he would go like chicka 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 shoo 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 shoo. So he threw the thing in the air. It spun in time by itself. And then he caught it on the beat. And I remember when that happened, Maynard went like, whoa! And we all looked at each other like, oh my God. And we're thinking, this guy's playing a dried out plant. And it's swinging hard. And this guy was like a virtuoso on this thing. I thought when he walked in earlier, he was bringing in like dirty laundry in a bag or something. Or he had some. This guy was like a master of this thing. It was unbelievable. So then afterwards, we're all talking with him. We're all eating in the back room, and it was a shame because these guys, I think Paquito went to America, and this is a group from Cuba that Castro wouldn't let back in America because he didn't want anybody else to leave the group and go to America. So this group could not get to America, and there's an embargo with we can't trade with Cuba, we can't sell down there because of this embargo. So these saxophone players that were in the band, the trumpet players, they couldn't get valve oil. This one saxophone player had the same box of reeds for like a year and a half. He's just playing these reeds until hopefully he won't break them. And he's handling them real gently. So we were giving them reeds. I mean, we'll just buy another box when we get back to the States. But these poor guys, they had nothing. So it was great, and we watched it. But I remember when this guy threw this gourd in the air, and it spun in time by itself. Shoot, 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 shoot. And then he caught it right in time. Maynard just flipped, and we all looked at each other like, oh, did you see that? And then Maynard looked over at the box of all our percussion stuff with the vibra slaps and just loaded with crap. And He just looked at it. He looked at those guys out there playing, and he looked at the box, and he looked at us, and he said, about maybe 7 of us, he looked at us, he goes, hey, maybe we should put that box to bed. Maybe it's time. And we're all like, maybe we should put that box to bed. And we did. We never used that stuff again. But that's when it really started to get official. Now when you buy charts, everything's written right. Everything is written, you can't really write in that style anymore and get away with it. If you see a modern chart where it just says calypso and it doesn't indicate a bass line or what the auxiliary percussion should do or anything specific for the piano, I just stay away from it. I mean, everyone knows now, thanks to books like this, and there's other books out, but when this came out, it was like heaven, because you didn't have to just write the word Latin, which is a language. It could mean nothing. But you were always hoping you'd get that Art Blakey ding ding ticket the ding. That's what I think people, I guess, expected. But now it's specific. But that was funny. Shoot, 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 shoot. Boom. It's time to put that box to bed. And we did. That box went right to bed.